Hello, everybody. You are in the right place at the right time. I am so excited for you to be with us on tonight. This is our first empowerment or enrichment session for the year of 2024. I'm excited. We've got our ministry enrichment coordinator with us, Pastor Jared Perdue. We have our special guest, Bishop David K. Come on, you all. I see you. Come on. I need y'all to come as you're coming in. Say something to us. Tell us where you are from. Tell us what city you're from. Tell us hello. Say something to us. This is going to be an interesting session on tonight. We have just an issue that it's really not an issue. We want an area to discuss with you that many of you may not even be familiar with. A church merger. Yes, you got it right. Church merger. Tell them what a church merger is, Pastor Perdue.
Woo! Well, Pastor Riley, once again, it's just good to be on with you. Good to see your beautiful face once again. And it's so good to have my big brother on, the Honorable Bishop David K. And I believe this is going to be a great conversation tonight as the people are coming in. One of the things we deal with when you deal with a church merger is a mindset. So a church merger first begins with a mindset of two entities, two corporations, two companies, two people coming together. But the only way we can come together is first have a mindset to do that. The Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree? They be in agreement, and agreement comes with a particular mindset. So before we talk about getting with anybody, we need to know how they think, and they need to know how you think. And I think that's a good place to start for a merger. What's on your mind?
Ooh, now see, I didn't even thought about it from that standpoint, but that is so true.
Yeah.
The mind. What's on your mind? Now, Pastor Perdue, tell us, for those who are not familiar, tell us the name of the churches that did the merger, and your and be clear with them about what each of your positions were in those churches.
Well, the name of the church that I was pastoring is Gathering Place Worship Assembly, GPWA, and Bishop K, who we will hear from here momentarily, pastors the church, Another Chance Assembly. So I was in the west suburbs. I'm in Romeoville, and he's on the west side of Chicago, which they say is the best side. I'm just saying.
Definitely. Yes.
West side is the best side. Okay. Now, Bishop K, when did you start pastoring? And then Pastor Perdue, when did you start pastoring? I want them to see the difference of both age and experience.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the Lord called me in 1995. Actually, we stepped out and planted a church on the west side. I kind of knew from my youth because my pastor was grooming me and teaching me some things. So I knew from my youth at age 16 that one day I would be a pastor. Just didn't know when, didn't know where. But at 33 years of age, the Lord opened up the door, and it was just like that. And the church was planted. So that will be 29 years ago.
29 years.
29 years ago, yes.
Okay, now, Pastor Perdue, were you still in grade school? How long have you been pastoring, young man?
Yeah, so I started the church. I planted Gathering Place Worship Assembly in March of 2017. And so this year marks 7 years of pastoring and walking in the office of a pastor. Started preaching when I was, I think, about 22. So this November would be 27 years of preaching the gospel and 7 years of pastoring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're establishing that we're definitely talking about different generations.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Yeah.
talking about different generations. I want everybody that is watching to know that we're talking about different generations coming together. Many
Absolutely.
times in our culture, you guys, you both know, they
Mhm.
say you can't do that. They say that different generations they want you to be more at odds with each other than unified.
Mhm.
But here the two of you have come together. So what kind of connection was there between the two of you, Bishop K? Was there a connection that you had with Pastor Perdue prior to the discussion of the merger?
Oh, sure. I've been knowing Pastor Jared for a long time. I was 14 years old when I started ministering the gospel, and I believe that's about the year he was born. All right, and he was just with our church's fellowship, and he was a member of Church of the Holy Ghost. I was a member of Prince of Peace Apostolic, and so we always crossed lines in fellowship. He was playing the drums, and I was the organist for our church, and so we've always been in connect with one another. But when he started ministering and preaching, I called him out. I wanted him to come preach. I believe in 1998 was the first time I might have called you over to the church, either first or the second time, but I called you over.
Yeah.
And I shared with him back then that, how the Lord had led me 20 years, I'm gone. 20 years, that's it. That's the way I felt. And he was right there and just jokingly said, I might be throwing these keys to you one day, man. You never know,
Yeah.
and but so just down through the years, he's always been a part. ACA loves him. We love him. He's my brother. That's it. He's my brother. This is not a father-son type relationship because I'm not old enough to be a father to him. All right. So it's more like a big brother, and a friend, a mentor, things like that. But I can't be the father. That's all. So
I got you. I understand.
we understand.
And I hope that the two of you had an opportunity to see the comment from Suffragan Bishop Philip Thompson from
Mhm.
Michigan Northern District Council.
Yeah.
And when he talked about that's what he's been advocating for in Michigan,
Wow.
mergers. He felt that, that it's definitely time for this type of collaboration to take place. So I just want you all to know people are watching. They're
Beautiful.
watching what you're doing. And so how did the conversation start about you guys doing the merger?
Ooh, tell him, Jerry. Tell him. That was something. I just called. He was doing something. I was doing something. I just called, and it was just like that. It just clicked. That's all.
It really was. He had called me, and he called me about something else, and some business he was taking care of as it relates to our council and the pastors, and I told him where I was with that situation, and then he said, I was talking with Bishop. We're talking about Bishop Smith when I say Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Bishop, and I think you all were out golfing. I think you said, and you said, I told Bishop that I was going to ask you what you thought about our two churches coming together to merge. Now, this, Pastor Riley, this was March of 2023. March of 2023. That was the first time he said anything to me about it. First time I heard it. There were no other hints or intimations other than what he had said 20 years prior after I preached for him in passing. I may throw you the keys one day. And, but I just wanted to be on the field at that time and evangelize. I wasn't even thinking about pastoring. I was in my 20s. But that's where the conversation, it started. And he and I, we didn't make any decision right then either. Said, hey, we'll pray about it and let's just see what happens. And so that started at least the praying and the process of possibility at that point. But we didn't, it was spiritual, it was God-led, and it was certainly organic because neither one of us manipulated anything in order for this to happen. We'll share that. I know you'll probably ask that later on as well, but it was definitely God-led with the absence of manipulation. So it started in March of 2023 with just a simple question from Bishop K. Hey, what do you think about our two churches merging? I talked to Bishop Smith about it, and I told him I would talk to you about it. Just want to know your thoughts. And I said right away, I said, now that I can see happening.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was your immediate response, not like, let me think, or let me pray.
No.
I get back with you.
Yeah. Pastor Riley, I've been telling people, when people say I'm gonna pray about it, don't be prolonging your no. That's all you're doing. I don't need you to prolong your no. Just tell me no now if that's the case. But no, it was, and I'm not trying to be super deep or spiritual, but it was as if Martha and Mary had met, and the leap in the belly. So immediately I knew. I didn't know how, didn't know when, but I knew Martha and Elizabeth. I knew right away that this was it.
Okay, you knew that. And let's say you said Mary and Elizabeth.
Mary and Elizabeth. Yes.
I want y'all to say we don't know what we talking about.
Oh yeah, Mary.
And Pastor Riley, I've spoke with Bishop Smith quite a few times concerning this. So there's plenty of counsel going on. I believe I started speaking with Bishop Smith somewhere around 2012 concerning succession. And I knew it would come through. I thought there might have been another, but that wasn't the Lord. And so I just wanted to get counsel from him, and he gave me great counsel all up to that time. A lot of good things can happen on the golf course. So a lot of good conversation. So
interesting. 12 years though before this actually happened. You had already started having conversation.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So when do you, since you know the seasoned voice of this, when do you think pastors ought to start looking at succession? I'm loving what you said. At what point? How far in to their pastoring, or is it an age, or is it how far into pastoring? How many years they've been pastoring? Should they begin looking at succession?
Well, you know what? I kind of took a page out of Josiah, the king, in his 8th year. 8 years he began to seek the Lord, and things was coming around, and he was going to just make a revival. Everything was going to get set back up. And I said, I feel maybe after 8 years of pastoring, then you're going into a new beginning. Something should be there where it's okay. Now I got to start looking ahead. If you're not looking ahead to that, then really you're behind time. You really need to start looking ahead, because you never know what can happen.
I like that. Listen, you guys, those of you that are here, I need some people to just come on and give us some positive comments here in the chat, because we want to keep this going. We want to keep this going. We hear you, Suffragan Bishop. That's my brother there. He talking to and those of you, and let me say this, I want to hear from in the chat some of the members from the congregations. Come on and tell us give us some yes, it's working, or I'm still praying about it. Come on and give us some words here. Now, we know that everybody experienced a major transition during COVID. And I would say that it changed the way that most pastors looked at how they were going to do church moving forward. What kind of impact did each of you have in your churches as it related to COVID? Because you were discussing this really on the end of it. If you're saying in 2023, we were still feeling the effects of it, what did anything happen during COVID that made you more open? How about, did anything happen that made you more open to this, Bishop K, or made you more open to this, Pastor Perdue, during COVID?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead.
No, you got it, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, COVID was something. I tell you, we came through. I call it an awesome experience, and we survived and we thrived. As far as our church was concerned, we had already made changes, just dealing with electronic giving, things like that. And our service wasn't 2 hours and 3 hours. We stopped that long time ago. We didn't have afternoon services and those kind of things. So, and all this was basically because of the direction that Bishop Smith was taking the council. So I just listened to what he was saying. And so when COVID hit, as far as time wise, it didn't hurt. Matter of fact, our service got even less, just an hour service, going online and things like that. But we was basically already set up for that. And once again, you might hear Bishop Smith's name a whole lot, Bishop Horace Smith, because he just kind of walked us through a lot of things as our diocesan and the council, and all that listened was blessed. And but COVID, it was an experience, and that's probably why I stayed a little longer, as long as I did, because I was looking to leave. But when COVID hit, which we didn't know was going to happen, it said to me, okay, we got to stick it out, even a little longer. It's going to happen, but we got to stay a little longer. That's all. So
before you respond, Pastor Perdue, Bishop, you're saying you were actually looking to transition before this merger.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to transition. Yeah. I wanted to transition somewhere around 2015.
All right, man of God, come on. All right, we're getting real talk, y'all. Y'all understand this? We're getting real talk up in here.
2015, yeah. I told everybody, I told the church, I will not die in the pulpit, not unless I die young. I said, I will not die in the pulpit, because down through the years, and please forgive all the pastors if you see this and I say something that's offensive to you, I'm sorry, but I've seen too many churches. I was brought up in the church. My mother was patting me in her belly, singing to Bishop Watkins songs, okay? And I came forth out of the church, and I've seen too many churches where the pastor died and he was incapacitated, and the church died. Well, the ministry of the church died as well. And it took the next pastor a long time, if he did, to bring it back, or she did. So I just learned from another man's mistakes. They told me, I don't need to take up too much time, but they taught me coming up that a wise man learns from another man's mistake. Average man learns from his own mistake. Foolish man never learns. So,
all right, I gotta remember that. I'm gonna go back.
That's what they told me. It's not Bible, but it's good.
It's good. It's good. So what about you, Pastor Perdue?
The pandemic for us gave us an Ephatha year, which is to be open, and we became open to the possibilities of what church and ministry could be, especially when they closed everything down except for Walmart and the liquor store. Since we couldn't get into the building, we were like, what can we do to be creative, to keep the attention of our congregants, to keep them encouraged, and still have a spiritual connection to them? And so that's when we, during that time, the giving went up. A lot of churches testified to that. And we were then able to purchase relevant equipment and technology that will help us to have a social media presence, because we didn't want to be online with our phone way up here to our face. So, so what we did is it gave an opportunity for our young people who were technologically sound to come to the forefront, because their gift was needed. When we talk about gifts in the church, we never talk about the gift of creativity and technology. And so this is an opportunity for them to come to the forefront. And I mean, Pastor Riley, we did everything from having our services online to starting our YouTube channel, to making encouraging videos, to upping our community cares. You name it, we were able to do it. So the pandemic, it really gave us the freedom to be creative, a risk that maybe we would not have taken if church was normal as usual. I don't know if we would have been bold enough or courageous enough to do it. I feel that this was the trajectory anyway, but I think COVID helped to bring it along a little quicker than maybe some of us anticipated. Bless you, Pastor Billy. That's my brother. West Coast is in the house.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was a good time, although it was a hurtful time, a painful time, a confusing time for the ministry. It was a good time. We were able to sow during the famine,
Okay.
and be a blessing to the kingdom.
One of and both of you being from the Chicago area, Pastor Lisa Ballard made a comment based on something that Bishop Kate was saying, because she was like, her and her husband, they've transitioned, and her and her husband, they more or less went into an emeritus status. Her daughter and son-in-law have their church, and she was saying that they, in her comments, they made the decision not to die in the pulpit. And they're not older people, but they there was a time people started young, and so you can have 30, 35 years in and just be 60 years old,
Right.
and that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. One of the things that I love is what you said, and kind of as you said, I think isn't his official title is a suffragan bishop? Windermeyer is
yeah, I think Billy is a suffragan bishop now. Pastor.
You are brother, but we try to respect you, man of God.
I think he is now. Yeah.
And he was saying what like he said, creativity.
Yeah.
And the innovation. 36 years, and we are under 65. That's a lot of time. 36 years of pastoring, and you still under 65. That's a lot. That's a lot of time. All right.
Yes, it is.
But one of the things that I want to just ask you too about, and y'all decide who's going to go with this, because I do believe people are listening and they're getting some ideas. I believe that some things are being triggered in the hearts of people. Okay. So what were some of the processes that you guys took before the merger? I mean, because you're talking about two churches.
Yeah.
Y'all just can't go to lunch and then merge two churches.
Facts.
No, a 7-year to 29-year. You just can't, say, we went to lunch and we've been talking several times, so just stand before the people and say, we're going to merge. Y'all coming? You couldn't do that. So you guys share with us about the process.
Well, I'm sure Pastor would agree with me in that we're still, you might say, a work in progress. We haven't reached the fullness of it all the way through. But mainly, I think one of the biggest things is just understanding that we have the same core values in all that, and we can, as he said earlier, how can two walk together except they agree? We teach the same, we believe the same, and our values are the same as far as what we receive from the Spirit and where we want to take the people. And that's a blessing right there. And I believe that's the success of it right there. That's the success.
Yep.
Core, I got to write down, because that one, everybody needs to remember that one. It starts with core values.
Yep.
Because if you had different core values, then you guys would have to be starting from scratch.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the one.
Yeah, we wouldn't start at all.
We could say, no, he just wouldn't be the one.
He wouldn't be the one.
So the core values must be the same. Those of you that are thinking about this, you're saying, where do I start? I believe that they have given some of the best information right there. Start with the same core values. Do you believe the same? Are your core values, as it relates to the Word of God, your relationship with God, pastoring, are they the same? If they are as far as the East is from the West, I've never done the mergers, but I believe it wouldn't work. That's just me.
Got to think again. It wouldn't.
No. No, it wouldn't work at all. Those core values, I've seen some people putting in there as well with the vision and goals being aligned together.
Yeah.
I think another, and I totally agree with Bishop, another key component is you must walk in the spirit of humility.
Yes.
One of the things we believe in is you can have no ego to bruise. Okay. No ego to bruise. And so if both are coming in saying, I got to keep this. I got to be this. It's not going to work. So this is one of those cases where we prefer our brother. You understand the role. We understand what we're doing. And if we can't walk in the spirit of humility, then we can't go forward together, because pride comes before a great fall.
Ooh,
And so
yes.
we certainly don't want that. So if people are not humble, it won't work. You cannot do this with an arrogant person. You cannot do this with a self-centered individual. You cannot do this with a person who has a vision for themselves, but nothing beyond themselves. And what I mean by that is they don't want to hear any new ideas, any innovative thoughts. I just want you to come in and keep things going the way they are. It will not work that way. So we have removed ego out the way. And because we have had a relationship for years, that's important as well. That made it that much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Sister Cheryl Walker, she says having both Bishop K and Pastor Perdue has been a blessing in her spiritual life. That's one of your members there. She says,
Good.
team,
Yes.
this dream team has been blessing her life.
Yeah.
I'm loving some of these like comments about no ego to bruise, you know, us remaining humble, the humility part and the ego. That's the whole class by itself, man of God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. We know that's a whole class by itself. We'll save that one for another time.
Right.
we will save that one for another time. Now, your inaugural service, when you first officially came together, you did preparing of the church, right? Like Pastor Perdue, you prepared your church.
Yeah.
Bishop, you prepared your church.
Mm-hmm.
So then you say, now we're coming together. How do the people respond? What was that?
Can we give you just a couple of things we did before then, Pastor?
Okay, please.
So even before it got to our churches, Pastor Bishop K and I, we first talked to our wives. We had the conversation with them. Then this is very strategic. Then we had a conversation with our children.
Yes.
Yeah.
After that, we then have had a conversation with our boards at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was, and then after that, we had a conversation with our pastor, Bishop Horace Smith.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a whole lot of steps that went
in. Actually, Bishop was first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, so all of these conversations were had, you know, before the inaugural service. And that's important, you know, that our family was talked to, our wives were talked to. We went over to Bishop and Lady K's house and talked for hours because, you know, we wanted to know, my wife and I, we wanted to know how she felt. We knew how Bishop K felt, wanted to know how she felt. Bishop K wanted to know how my wife felt about it, because if he felt this was the direction to go, but she didn't want to leave, that would be a problem. If I felt it was the direction to go, but my wife didn't want to come along with me, that would be a problem. So the four of us, a safe space was created for us to just share. And that's very important to do. Before we get to the church knowing about it, man, we had all these other components that we had to converse with so that we can get their questions answered and then get some direction from our leaders as well.
What I'm also admiring, and please everybody pay attention, you also said that you talked with your children.
Yeah.
Is Maya in here related?
That's my daughter. That's my youngest.
Okay, because Maya talking to us. Talk to us, Maya. Come on, Maya.
That's it.
So how was it? Because, you know, your children come into this stuff without, you know, they didn't ask, you know, y'all didn't ask permission and all of that. So you didn't ask them, can I be called to the pastor or nothing like that. But you consider them with this merger. There used to be a part of just a one church first family. How was that? Both of you. Now, Bishop K, your children are grown. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. But how was that? How was that piece?
You know, my children, especially my sons, and they received it. You know, I've always brought them up to whereas this is God's church. It's not a family church. It's God's church. I have a younger son, Brandon. He's in his 30s, mid 30s. He ministers the word. My older son, David, he can minister the word. But as far as taking a senior position, that's not now. No. And they understood that, and I talked with them. One thing I think definitely it's wonderful if a pastor has a child that can step in and do it. That's a beautiful thing. All right. But other pastors, don't set your children up for failure. All right. If you set them up and they're not really called or they can't lead in that position at this point, don't set them up for failure. Wow. And I'm not going to be there for another 10, 15 years to wait on you. Okay. I'm writing the vision because it won't tarry. Right. Vision won't tarry. All right. You can wait on it. But so it will come to pass. But they received it, because I've always talked with them about it since the beginning of the ministry, just telling them, how I feel. And they was always with me. My daughters, 3 sons, 2 daughters, everybody's there. Right. No pushback, nothing.
And that's interesting because I was going to ask you, did you have any preaching sons? And also let's preaching daughters, but I was going to ask about also preaching sons and how they felt about this. But I like what you said, that they minister the word, but you knew they weren't ready for this, and you weren't prepared to wait 10 years for them to get ready.
No, it might happen later on, and my oldest son said, he told me, he said, I can follow Pastor Perdue. That's what he said.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. There you go.
He said, I can follow that one. He said, I can follow that one.
So, Pastor Perdue, what did your children have to say?
They were very excited once we presented it to them. They understand how we move in ministry and that, again, we don't own anything in ministry. We're only stewards over it. We shed no blood for the church. Jesus did. So it's his church. And we just steward it. And when the Lord tells us to shift or move, then that's what we do. And so they have trusted me along this journey, even as a church planter, as Bishop K is. When you're a church planter, your children, they own all the auxiliaries.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's be clear about that. Yeah. I know Pastor Perdue, you planted, but Bishop K, your church is your church plant also?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Both are establishment areas. Oh, okay. This is good stuff. Yeah. Maya said, Daddy, we got you. You walked us through this thing, and you kept us in the loop. And we just told you, me and my siblings said, we got you, Daddy.
Yeah. Yeah. And we asked them for their feedback too. So I wanted to know their thoughts on it, and Bishop as well. Just like, what do you think about it? It's not one of those things, this is what we're doing. Come on, let's go. It was, man, what are your thoughts? What are your perspectives? What are your hesitations about it? What is your excitement about it? We wanted to hear it all because I'm asking you to be a part of what we're doing to move the kingdom forward. And I want your perspective on it. But they were very excited about doing it. And again, being a church planner and them helping to build something from the ground up, and then an opportunity to do something even on a greater level with some other people, it was just a blessing.
Oh, that is great. We're getting you guys just keep on talking. I'm loving this. I want to say, and I should have said this earlier, to those of you that are watching us on Instagram, the platform that we're using allows you to see us and also comment in that chat. But your comments don't make their way over to the platform that we're on. So if you're saying I'm saying something, but they're not addressing my questions, it's because I don't see what you put in the Instagram chat. If you put something in the Facebook chat or the YouTube chat, we will see it, especially if you have a question, but we don't see the questions or the comments just yet. They said that it's getting ready to change real soon, but just yet from the Instagram chat. So we say everything, we went smooth, our inaugural service, everything went well. People over. How was the coming together though? Let's ask that. Because how was it coming together? Because everybody's different now. Everybody's got their own style. So, I mean, did you both preach, or yeah, was it a tag?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Go
a
ahead,
tag.
Bishop.
Let y'all do that. Now tell me how you did that.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, tag. You know, I told Pastor, and it wasn't anything that we actually set up. We sat down and said we're going to do this. We just figured, you know, we're going to 3 points, and once again, that's because of the commonality. That's the core value, just the thought and ministry that we have together. We didn't just lay it all out. I said, this is what we're going to deal with. He said, okay, boom. We sat there, and it was a blessing to everyone. And I must make mention of this. Even before we had that service, we dropped a video, all right, saying exactly what was going on, you know, and dealing with succession. So that was our that was our entrance into this whole thing, you know. So when they saw the video on Facebook, our church, they said, "Oh, we know what's happening here."
I love. Listen, your people are like sister Rona Allen Coleman said. Tag team was a tag team explosion. Daddy said it was off the chain.
Yeah, that's the chair.
Walker said that somebody told me I should have been there. Honey, you should have been there. That tag team that was that thing. Yeah, go ahead on. So I'm curious. I don't know if anybody else is curious. I'm curious. Answer it for me. Did you merge your music department? Did you merge musicians? Did you merge your technical staff? What about that piece? Because I mean, you know, when it's a merger, so you gotta everybody. And I know you had those components, especially because we're coming through this whole COVID thing. So how did you merge? How did you merge that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Everyone merged everything. The music that was there, and that was a very great thing as far as the media and everything. Because Pastor Perdue had a great media team. Ours was coming along real good. I had one person, one faithful one, Lawrence. Thank God for him. Beautiful young man. But he was our drummer as well and director of the praise team. So he was just running back and forth, up to the booth, coming back. You know, just to deal with the media part. Our sound man, Brother Lewis, he was great doing that. But when we merged and the media ministry came apart, I believe that was one of the largest things that really merged first was the media ministry.
Oh, was the media. Okay.
Yeah, media ministry, our outreach merged together. And sometimes people, they really didn't know what to do. So what we say, watch me and Pastor, and you'll learn what to do. That's all. Do what we do. Okay. Isn't that what Paul said? Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Follow me as I follow Christ.
Follow Christ. Hey,
what you see in me, you do.
Lady Perdue, Arnita, right?
Yep, that's Lady P. Yeah.
Lady P.
Hey,
Lady P said one band, one sound. She said, you said the transition that it came together. I like that. Somebody needs to hear it. One band.
Yeah.
One sound.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ooh, I'm loving that. So then let's say this, because as we are kind of wrapping up, there are a few more questions I just want to ask you all quickly. Because people are asking questions, people are curious, people are considering. I know every church is going to be different. Yeah. But some of the basic qualities other than core values. Give us one more, Pastor Perdue, one more, Bishop K, that that has to be there for them to really consider a church merger. We know everybody's agreeing. We stand on that. Core values and everything that goes along with the core values.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, I would add to that, and I know we use this word all the time, but it's imperative. Vision, as it relates to the direction of the church and ministry. So, where is it going? Where has it been? Where is it going? You have to have and understand the necessity of the foundation and the future. And that's what vision is. It doesn't negate one in order to have the other. It's not either or, it's both and. So as it relates to merging, what is the vision of those two leaders coming together? We know what we've done, and we know we can't stay there. But how do we look moving forward? because nobody should be merging to create monuments, right?
Come on, come on,
That's
come
not
on.
what we could all stayed in our corner if that's what we're going to do.
Good word.
We're merging together to have movements, and that of the Holy Spirit leading us in how to do that. And so the caveat I would put with vision would be assignment. So, I've had other opportunities to pastor at other churches, even since I've been pastoring. Bishop K has had other opportunities to choose other people if he was going to merge with. But at the end of the day, what is the assignment, right? And I use this phrase a lot, the scripture a lot, for such a time as this.
Yes.
And so that is important. Core values we got to have going in the door. We got to understand what the vision is, where we've been and where we're going. We don't need to negate either one. So I can't just dismiss the history that Another Chance has had under the leadership of Bishop K. And he's not dismissing the history that Gathering Place has had under my leadership. We're understanding where we came from. And now that vision is going to help to determine and direct where we're going. And if our assignments align, then we can merge.
Wow. What do you have to add to that, Bishop?
He just said a lot right there, and that's beautiful. But really, I think when two pastors are even thinking about it, they should definitely ask the question why. And when I look at the senior position of it, why do you want to do this? I'm not merging with Pastor Badu to strengthen my position. Okay, I'm merging with him to strengthen the kingdom. And in that, my position is going to decrease so his position can increase, because what happens is you merge and then things start happening. The Lord starts blessing because you made a God decision. Now the senior wants to say, oh, wow, let me stand there a little longer. No. Things are looking great because you made a God decision and it's time to turn it over. All right. Don't try to go back now and it's okay. No, why am I merging? Why did we do this? Because I'm looking for someone to take it further than what I could. I've shifted gears. I'm in the 18th year now. Okay. And we're just cruising. And we need someone that can shift a little higher. Okay. And keep going. I'm talking truck talk, tractor trailer. But I've shifted. Once you've shifted to your top gear, you can't do anything but grind gears and just cruise. So in that, we need someone to take it further. So in that, you need to ask why, and then the younger coming on. We had something GPA didn't have. GPA has something we didn't have. And the Lord bless, and just bringing it together, it complements each other, And that's why we're doing it for kingdom purposes. It has to be kingdom minded.
Excellent. Now, for the record, what are your titles?
I'm senior pastor of the church. I'm senior pastor of the church at this point, and Pastor Badu is executive pastor. And we're just moving it like that.
This is good.
This is why we said at the beginning, Pastor Riley, you have to walk in humility.
Yeah.
And understand what the assignment is. Because if not, at the beginning, we're gonna break up over titles.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Because I wanted you all to make it clear that these are our titles.
Yeah.
And we all good with it.
Yeah.
You follow me? People,
absolutely.
Those of you that are watching, you got to hear this. They're not getting caught up. You have a senior pastor who merged with his church, took on the title of executive pastor, and he's good with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that. It's about the assignment.
Yeah.
Y'all helping some people today. You really are. I pray that what you've done becomes a blueprint for other churches that you put in print. Am I saying something new, or what?
Yeah. Yeah. And
is it a blueprint that you gonna put in print?
In print.
That's what. Come on, help me out.
That's right.
And when we step in the pulpit, we're both pastor. That's it. They call it, he's Pastor Badu, I'm Pastor K.
Yeah.
That's when we both step in the pulpit. It's First Lady Purdue, First Lady K, and that there's no problem. We're there.
And can I just say it this way? Because some people don't understand. Sometimes you have to do the way you've done it with the titles, even for business purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, am I kind of correct in that? That sometimes in the alignment and the structure for when I say business, even I should say even legal purposes, because I know we want to make church just all spiritually deep, but there is a legal portion that comes into our church.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially, we're coming to my daughter put up the address. She's shouting us out today, 5138 West Division.
Yeah, there you go.
And Bishop K, who I affectionately call the mayor of the West Side, because everybody knows him over there. And he's been there. Next year will be 30 years. But yes, he's established there. He's put in the work there. He's laid the foundation there. And I honor that. I respect that. And yeah, legally, there are things that his name is on. And so he is the senior pastor in that regard. Here's the beautiful thing about it. You have two things marrying each other. We have innovation and we have stability that are coming together. Innovation without stability is a short-lived dream, and stability without innovation will soon become stale. So you need both of them to come together, and
Right.
And we've aligned these things to give a blueprint. It's like, hey, we're being innovative here. So you were the senior pastor, now you're the executive pastor here, and it's going to look different for different churches, Pastor Riley.
Right.
We realize that, but just as some type of format, this is what the position is. We alternate with the Sundays. We have that schedule out. There are programs I'm implementing in the ministry that I've had, some of the vision that I've had, some things Bishop K had years ago to implement, and it's coming through me. Some of the ideas, when I bring it up, he said, man, I had this 15 years ago. I didn't have anybody to do it. And so, he's bringing it all together, bringing it all to pass, which is why we're not going to sit here and fight over a title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if I add on to that, Pastor, it goes back to the question, why? Why are you doing this? Bishop Brazier, God bless him. He taught us a lot as we was coming along. Yeah. And he used to say this a lot in the pastors' meeting. He said, two kings can't sit on the same throne. Okay. He said that two kings can't sit on the same throne. So one has to take a lesser and one even the forward position. However, we walked into this and shared the vision as far as the steps of what's going to happen. All right. To whereas, okay, I might be senior pastor now, and this is for business purposes and things like that, but I'm going to decrease. He's going to increase. I'm going to pass the baton, and then Pastor Purdue is going to be senior pastor. We've already mentioned it to the church. If something was to happen to me now, Pastor Purdue will be pastor immediately. Right. All right. And when we make the final transition, he's going to be the senior pastor. I won't be the senior pastor anymore. And I'm fine with that. Praise the Lord. It'll be all right.
And that's about mergers. There's got to be that level of humility. I remember when I've always been ever since I've lived in Chicago and I'm traveling a lot, I'm a United person, United Airlines. I'm in their program and all of that. Well, there came a time when United and Intercontinental, they merged. Yeah. And they were out, their hub was one of their hubs was in Houston. But United took on the name, which made it look like United got everything. Until a person who flew a lot had some technical issues and you went to, the ticket counter to get it straightened out. If it was a United person, they couldn't help you. They had to call Houston. And they apologized and they said, We got the name, but we're using their system.
Wow.
And we don't know what they do.
Ooh,
That'll
Listen,
preach.
listen,
I
we
love
got
it.
the
Let me
name.
write that down.
It said, we got the name, but see, it's their system. So we're being powered by them.
Yeah.
So when it gets a little technical, they said, we don't know. All we can do is brag that we got the name. We don't know how to use the system yet. And we're still being taught by them
Yeah.
how to use the system. And that's what makes us a merger.
Merger.
Right.
Somebody had to be, humble enough
Yeah.
to say, take the name, but you can't do nothing without the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and I went about a year running into that.
Wow.
A year running into that. Whenever I had something a little technical, they said, "You sorry, Miss Riley, we got called down to I was in DC one time. They said we got called down to Houston because that's something we don't really know how to do. This is not our system. This Intercontinental, and those people in Houston, we got to ask them how to do it. We still learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the merger caused the other people to really have the power that was driving it
That's right.
coming together.
Good. That's good.
So as we conclude, what would the two of you say to pastors who may be considering this move to merge with another church? Either one can go first. I'm fine with that. Let's give you Bishop K, because I'm going to have our enrichment coordinator. You can close it down.
Do it prayerfully. Do it prayerfully. Definitely pray. Seek the Lord. Get wise counsel. Know that, especially if you're in a senior position, know that you have fulfilled the will of the Lord in your life. You don't have to be senior pastor in order to minister. My ministry does not stop. I can still minister. I'm still going to preach. I'm still doing all that. But the daily issues of senior pastor will be no more. All right. Now I can support the next one that's coming on. All right. And say, go for it, So in that, it takes a lot of prayer. That's all. It takes a lot of prayer and humility. Definitely be humble.
Mm-hmm.
Know where you're at.
Wow. All right, Pastor.
No, that's real good, Bishop. I agree. Prayer, humility, and planning. Don't rush into it out of desperation. Don't rush into it because if you don't have a building, you want a building, or if you're tired of pastoring, you're ready to get out of it. You don't want to make this a rush decision. It needs to be prayed about, planned, and ask people who have done it. Ask people who are creatives. Ask people that pastor you. I often say when I'm teaching leaders, who can check you? Like if you're not accountable to anybody, then you're not going to listen to anybody. So you need to talk to the people that can check you to see, am I going in the right direction? Is this a good move or is this a God move? And we want God moves in the kingdom. So yeah, you don't have to rush it. Do a lot of planning, have a lot of conversations about it, and know that it's going to look different for everybody. But be comfortable with the difference. I will say that as I conclude. Be comfortable with the difference. If it does not look like it does traditionally, with the pastor dying and then people voting and doing all of this, it's okay. Dare to be different, to do God's work. Jesus is a great example of that. And I think we should follow his example.
Wow. Thank the two of you. I want to thank you so much, Bishop K, for just coming on, sharing your wisdom and experience. I really believe you are blessing the kingdom with sharing this information on tonight. I mean that sincerely.
Absolutely.
And to our ministry enrichment coordinator, Pastor Perdue, thank you so much, sir, putting this together, coordinating this. And I got some insight for more of this kind of thing. I pray that maybe in 2025 that maybe we can bring this to our convention. I'm serious. That we can, by then you guys have more gone and get that blueprint that's in print, and we can. And I would love to, under the lifestyle of ministry and culture, that we could bring this conversation, because I think too that the body, they need to hear, how do we do this?
Yeah.
How does it work? How are you all making it work? Because a lot of times people need a model. They need something that they can see. And you've given that to us. God bless you, everybody that's been a part, all of the members of the church. I've been in here telling us some stuff. Thank you, every one of you. Thank you all of you. Those of you that are a part of mergers, or even you're not necessarily mergers, but that have stepped aside and let others get up. You're just getting information, and that you've been sharing tonight. I'm just so thankful for all of the remarks that we've received. So our coordinator gonna have something else real good for us next quarter.
That's right.
Be listening out. We're gonna have something real good for next quarter.
Absolutely.
I want to say goodbye, and remember, this will remain on the platform. You can tell your friends, people that you know, say, hey, go on over to Sandra Riley's Facebook page, YouTube page. You can see what you missed, and it really may bless you and help you. All right?
Absolutely.
We're signing off.
God
God
bless
everybody. We thank God for you. Love you.